I want to say before we get on, Bill O'Reilly is a friend of mine. I worked with Bill O'Reilly. We've talked about it several times on this program. I worked closely enough with Bill on tours in particular, where there's not a single person on my staff, and we probably had, 20 people traveling with us. Not a single person on my staff at any time ever saw anything inappropriate or anything with Bill O'Reilly. In fact, the thing on Bill was he was so buttoned up. He was always on time. He always hit his marks. He kept to himself, and it was always like 1950s polite. So I happen to believe that he was gravely wronged, but that's not what this interview is about. I am going to ask him some of these questions, but we're not getting into it because I want to talk to him about the news of the day. Bill O'Reilly, a voice that has been silenced in America, speaks now on national radio for the first time since he's left Fox News Channel. And by the way, you can hear him at BillO'Reilly.com on his podcast. Bill, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me in. I appreciate it.
So I'm not going to get into everything. I just would like to know what the hell happened. I mean, tell us,
Look, this was a hit. And in the weeks to come, we're going to be able to explain some of it. And it has to do with destroying voices that the far left and the organized left-wing cabal doesn't like. So that's the general tone. Now, I can't get specific because there's a lot of legality here.
So is this, can I ask you this, is this something you're going to come on and explain, or is this something that when you say there's a lot of legality here, that it will be explained possibly in other venues?
Both. There's going to be an exposition soon, but I can't tell you when, about what exactly this crew that goes in and terrorizes sponsors, that threatens people behind the scenes, that pays people to say things. We're going to name them, and it's going to be a big, big story. The story will be downplayed by the left-wing media, but you guys like you and talk radio and the internet will get it. It's coming. And unfortunately, I was target number one, and it's sad. It's sad for me. It's sad for my family. It's grossly dishonest. I did what I thought I had to do to protect my family, but those days are over. From now on, when I'm attacked, I'm going to take action, mostly legal action. But it's not going to happen anymore to me. But it is out there, and I'll point you to an article that was very, very seldom seen this week about 9 corporations, big corporations, that are now being targeted by organized left-wing groups funded by George Soros because they allegedly are profiting from President Trump's immigration stance. You can Google the article, and it is that gives you your roadmap.
Bill, I don't remember.
Is putting up big money.
I don't remember when I was at Fox, because I did, as you remember, I did George Soros, the Puppet Master, because we had received what we felt was a serious threat to life from one of George Soros's intimate surrogates. And
you'll remember a few years ago that after Brian Williams got hammered,
yes,
for then the Mother Jones outfit came after me and said I did the same thing.
Right.
Okay. I was protected by Fox News at that point, and it was all bull. It was just a lie. And, we fought it hand to hand. But now it's ramped up since President Trump was elected. It's ramped up to a place where I think this is going to become a major story in the next 6 months.
So I wrote to you, we exchanged emails, you were in Rome, and you were coming home, and you left you had just been with the Pope and got on a plane, and the impression I got from the email was it's all going to it's all going to blow over, and it's going to be tough, but it's all fine. When did you first hear? How'd you hear about you not being you being let go by Fox?
My attorneys told me, and we were all shocked. But I'm not going to say any more than that because I had 20 good years at FNC, and we were caught by surprise. But look, it's their prerogative; they can do whatever they want. They run the company, and they own the company, and so if that's what they felt was best for the company, I'm not going to hammer them.
I was thinking about writing a new book called Killing O'Reilly.
Yeah, well, I did. They being not the company so much, but
that's your opinion.
When you have organized people being paid to demonstrate outside of your headquarters and all of that, yeah. I mean, it's intense. So I got to do this methodically. I've got to do it in a way that we don't make any mistakes, and we will.
So just a couple more things. You didn't have a chance to do a last episode. If you were going to do a last episode, Bill, what would you have wanted to leave the viewer with? What would you have said?
Nothing.
I don't mean about that.
It was so complicated.
No. I don't mean about that. About the situation. I mean, what would your words to have been to people who watched you for 2 decades?
Oh. Well, look, I put a statement up on BillO'Reilly.com, and we, had a very strong bond, as you do with your listeners and viewers. We had that same bond, and people were very, very sad when that happened, and I felt very bad for not only me and people close to me and my staff, but for the viewers and listeners, because they don't understand what happened. I mean, they hear all this stuff. And, people know that the left-wing media hates Fox News and hates me. I mean, that's been 20 years. They know that, but they don't know the extent of it. And I just couldn't at that point lay it out. I can't at this point lay it out. I just have to wait. And we're accumulating information, and hopefully someday it'll all be clear.
But something is coming out.
I trust the audience's instincts because they've been with me for so long.
Yeah. Last question on this. I got up the next day, I think it was on the weekend after you had been let go, and I think it was in The Guardian. I saw this, and because part of the reason I moved down to Texas was what was happening to my family. And so I see anybody. I mean, if I would see Michael Moore, I don't even know if he has kids, a man I really don't like. If I saw him with his kids and it was tough, I would feel great empathy because I've had it happen with my kids on the street. I saw a picture of you and your son. You were like going to a Walmart or something the next day. And I thought to myself, what a horrible situation for you to have this with your children. How are your kids dealing with this? How's your son?
I never talk about them, and I'm not going to now. I will tell you that the press in certain precincts is as vicious and evil as it gets. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I'm going to take a quick break. BillO'Reilly.com, where you can join his podcast and hear him and his take on the news. This is the first time many people in America have heard Bill's voice since he left Fox. So we're going to start with the news of the day and what happened yesterday with Lester Holt and NBC with Donald Trump and the Comey firing. Get his view on that and so much more when we come back. BillO'Reilly.com.
The Glenn Beck Program.
From BillO'Reilly.com, where he has his daily podcast. First interview with Bill O'Reilly since he left Fox News. Welcome back to the program, Bill. I'm guessing that some of your time has been spent yelling at the television like I do when incompetent anchors are giving their opinion on the news. Let's hear what you've been saying privately about, let's start with James Comey. Fired on Tuesday. You saw, I'm sure, the interview last night. Where do you want to begin?
Let's begin with the fact, and this is a fact, that in American journalism right now, very few are seeking the truth. It's not what the press is doing. They don't seek the facts to back up what really happened. What they do, particularly in the newspapers and on cable television, is come up with a scenario and then try to reinforce that scenario. All right. So James Comey is fired by President Trump. The reason he was fired, and I know this to be a fact, is because Trump does not trust him. It's as simple as that. Donald Trump does not trust James Comey.
Agree.
Why? Okay? 3 reasons. Number one, he doesn't like the fact that Comey is unpredictable. Don't know what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. Now, that might be a compliment to Comey. All right? He's unpredictable. Number 2, that Comey would not aggressively investigate the leaks that have plagued the Trump administration since he was inaugurated. He is not, well, he's gone now, but he was not investigating those leaks. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Russia. President Trump is crazed about it, emotionally involved with it, okay? He believes that from the beginning, his enemies in the press and in the Democratic Party have used the Russia thing to delegitimize his victory. So he's very emotionally and tightly wound about Russia, all right? He did not trust Comey to do an honest investigation about Russia. Those are the 3 reasons that Comey was fired.
Okay, so I agree with you on all of them. And I agree with the idea that he doesn't trust him, and he wanted to fire him and was going to fire him because he doesn't trust him because of the wiretap thing. He wouldn't back him up on the wiretap. He is not going into the leaks, who I think is Susan Rice, and he finds that abhorrent. But he also doesn't like the fact that on Monday he said under oath, it makes me a little bit squeamish that I may have affected the election. I think Donald Trump interpreted that as, I didn't want him to win, instead of I'm squeamish that I had any effect in one way or another.
Nah, it just reinforced it. It wasn't a primary mover. Look,
yeah.
The mistake,
I agree.
The Trump administration always makes mistakes by being undisciplined. All right? So Trump wanted Comey out, and he probably wanted him out from the jump, from the time he was sworn in. But he was
So
waiting.
why did he praise him so hard at the beginning?
Because that's what he always does. Everybody's terrific. Everybody's excellent. Everybody's doing a great job. That's his way. All right. He tries to get people over on his side by doing that. He flatters them, and he wants to convince them that they should be loyal to him. He didn't see any good response from Comey, so personally he just said, "Well, we got to get rid of this guy." But the messaging is always the problem with the Trump White House. They don't have strong people dealing with the press. I mean, I think the Huckabee's daughter is much stronger than Spicer. Spicer's just weak. In the president himself sends muddled messages all the time. For example, he asked the Justice Department to evaluate Comey. Now, that's a legitimate request from a president. It's a legitimate request. Okay, look, I need to know your opinion on the FBI director. Okay? So the assistant attorney general, because Sessions is recused, comes back and says he's a screw-up. All right? He did things in the Hillary Clinton email investigation that were unprofessional and made the Bureau look bad. So that's an honest assessment, I think, because the guy was confirmed by all the Democrats. He's not an ideologue, the assistant attorney general. Okay? So Trump has that. But then they put out, well, that's the reason we're getting rid of Comey. But it wasn't the real reason, you see? So if Trump had just stayed on message and just said in the beginning, I just don't trust him.
Okay,
he lost my confidence.
So let me
I'm going to remove him. That's all he had to do.
Let me start there. I got to take a quick break, and then let me start there. So is that a problem of Donald Trump? Is that a problem of the White House? And all of the leaks that are coming out, what does that tell you? And we'll go there. Back with Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com next.
The Glenn Beck Program. Mercury. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
I got a young talent on the phone that you might have heard of. He used to work at the Fox News network. First interview since leaving there. Had him on a few minutes ago. He's sounding crazy about some damn George Soros conspiracy, but whatever. That's what he does. I'll try to keep him in line. It's Bill O'Reilly. Hello, Bill.
Wait a minute. You egged me on saying that Soros did the same thing to you.
No, I don't remember that.
No, I see. No.
Yeah, no, you're bringing these crazy conspiracies, and you know.
You're so out of your mind.
I'm in the fact business. I don't want to get into these crazy conspiracies.
So
okay.
I want to tell all your listeners who just joined us that we are posting the entire interview on BillO'Reilly.com and on The Blaze, so they can see just how nakedly
accurate I am. So anyway, Bill, let's go here. You said something about, the press isn't looking for truth, and I think you're exactly right. And the clearest case, but I want you to listen to the whole part here. The clearest case is no one is pointing out that James Comey was the biggest enemy of the left up until the minute Donald Trump fired him. They were running a hashtag Fire Comey campaign. The people at Colbert didn't even know how to react. They cheered when they said he was fired. And Colbert had to kind of go back and explain, no, you don't understand. Right. So there was no coverage of that. However,
you expect the pundits and the comedians and the people who are making money on ideology to do these kinds of things. What you don't expect, all right, and what is an absolute scandal, is that the straight press, the journalists, the hard news reporters, okay, they now are devoting most of their time to trying to destroy Donald Trump. And it's not even debatable. That's what they're doing. So here's the best example. They've conjured up this deal that Trump himself ordered his campaign staff to collude with Putin and the Russians to destroy Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's what...
Wait. I haven't heard any credible person in the news say that. What credible...
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard any...
yeah. That is the insinuation on every hour on MSNBC and CNN, that Trump himself is under investigation. Trump himself was involved with this collusion with the hackers. Of course, this is what it is. We need an independent prosecutor. Did you miss that, Beck?
But I think...
find out that Trump was just like Richard Nixon. Exactly. He is weaving this big conspiracy, okay? Firing Comey, so Comey was too close to linking Trump to the Russians. This is what it's all about. Come on, you must know that.
No, I look at it slightly differently. I think that they believe that there were people in the campaign that were Flynn, that were dirty and doing things. What's his name? The guy who was the campaign manager.
I can't believe you've turned into Little Bo Peep. You are Little Bo Peep. Did you not hear Dan Rather this week go, he's covering up something?
Dan Rather. Nobody's listening to Dan Rather.
Did you not hear Carl Bernstein of the...
Did you not hear Carl... Did you not also hear Carl Bernstein lecture the press in that same speech at the White House press dinner? That you can't just go with what you think. You actually have to have the facts to back it up.
And
he lectured the press.
CNN and says that Trump is Nixon and covering up all of this stuff, that he's involved in it. Listen, I'm telling you, if you sit down there with a notepad, you will find hour after hour after hour, this is the insinuation, not only by the cable news networks, but by the big liberal newspapers.
So here's where I am on this, Bill, and I'd love your perspective on this. I think most of everything that you believe about the press. I've worked in major news like you have for however long you've worked, 400 years, maybe longer. But I've been around it enough to know there's no intellectual curiosity. There's no real intellectual honesty in most cases. They're just dead inside. They've got an agenda. Whether they know it or not, it's just groupthink, and they're just going that way.
They know it. They hate him.
Oh, I know that. I know that. However,
and by extension, anybody who gives Trump a fair play, anybody, is going to be attacked as well. And look.
Okay, so wait. Let me finish, because the rest of that statement that I wanted to start with is, I am with the press is they don't get it. They when you can't.
Oh, they get it. They're doing it on purpose.
Okay.
I can't believe you're a little Bo Peep. How many sheep do you have in the studio right now?
Oh my gosh. Here's the other side. If you want to make progress, somebody on the left in the press needs to say, "Are you kidding me? Fire Comey? Are you kidding me? You can't. I'm sorry, Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and everybody else. You can't have it that way." But then somebody on the right needs to say, "Come on, man, Donald Trump is out of control with his spins, with his lies, with his fabrications. I mean, it's crazy what the man says a lot of the time."
Well, you say that, Beck, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much alone.
So there's your voice. I don't consider you a rabid right winger. I mean, I think you're an independent thinker, but you say it. And there have been other people, Krauthammer. I mean, he doesn't have much use for the president. But look. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's this monolithic, and very powerful industry that's developed to get Trump out of office.
I agree with that.
Period.
I agree with that. But there was also the same thing with Barack Obama. I don't think it was orchestrated. No, hang on just a second. I don't think it was
even close.
I don't think it was orchestrated. I remember, I'm the guy who did, your crazy conspiracy, George Soros. He's great. I love him. Anyway, I was on the George Soros and the Tides Foundation. That's very well laid out and very brilliant the way that thing is put together. We don't have that on the right. And so it's much more of an organic kind of thing. There was a big movement among the people to say, this guy is out of control. It didn't reach the levels like it does with the left because color of change, media matters, all of that. That's what they do for a living.
But it doesn't really matter in the sense that the folks can make up their own mind.
Yes.
There isn't any filter or any dishonesty in you giving your opinion about President Trump. I'm not offended by that. Right. I may disagree with it somewhat, but you give your opinion, and others on the right do as well.
Yes.
Okay?
But they don't
some balance.
Yes.
On the right as far as Trump is concerned. Some like him, some don't. But on the left, you don't get any of that. What you get is, we're going to take him out. All right? And here's what we're going to take advantage of every single thing to take him out.
Okay.
Maxine Waters is the only one who's honest enough to say that. And she runs around the country saying, well, we're going to impeach him, or we're going to get him out of office, or he's this, he's that. I mean, that's what the New York Times wants to do.
I don't think I'm helping Bill O'Reilly's blood pressure. I don't think I'm helping your blood pressure. I don't think I don't think I'm a calming force on you right now, Bill. I really don't.
I don't need a calming. I'm happy the way I am, unfettered.
So let me ask you this: when it comes to the White House and the leaks that are going on, and the back and forth of the press and the stories, where does that buck stop? Is that Donald Trump? Is that his people doing him a disservice?
Who knows?
What is that?
Look, here's the best example. The big story earlier this week was that Comey was fired because he wouldn't give in to Trump when Trump pressured him to stop the Russian investigation. That's all you heard. And then McCabe, the second him again, comes into the thing and goes, that's not true. Comey didn't go to the White House and ask for any money. He didn't ask for any money at the White House. We don't do that. We come to Congress to ask for money. Plus, we have enough money. We have plenty of money to investigate Russia. And we have all kinds of agents all over it. So that phony, dishonest, garbage story that was peddled by the major newspapers and all the cables, okay, was blown out of the water by McCabe, all right, who's a Democrat, whose wife ran for office as a Democrat. Blown out of the water. Oh, okay, so another phony story down the drain, we'll just find another one. Here we go. Come on, Beck, you got to see it. You got to see how damaging it is to the country. And I'm not sticking up for Trump here as a person or a president. I'm just saying this kind of dishonesty in the media is harming this nation.
You are. I am with you 100% on the damage that the left is doing right now. The media, what they're doing is inexcusable. And I've been trying to reach out to them, and they don't. It's obvious to me that they don't actually want an answer, because I can help show them where they're disconnecting from they don't want to know. They don't want to know. They know, and they are happy with the way they are. They think they're right. So,
and they don't like you, Beck.
Yeah, I know that. I did never expect them to. I know that.
They don't like anything about you. They don't like your haircut. They don't like the sweaters that you wear.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
They don't like the blaze.
I mean,
they don't like the radio show. Okay.
I don't.
And luckily,
you're not helping my blood
Beck
pressure.
A compliment here.
Yeah.
Beck doesn't work for anybody but himself, and he was smart to do that. It's because the left now can't get Beck, because Beck controls his own destiny. Unlike me, I had to deal with a whole bunch of other things when they came after me, and people should know that you can say and do what you want to do because you control. Glenn Beck controls his own destiny, which is very different from most other people in the media.
Well, I thank you for that, Bill, and I would like to say publicly, honestly, and I know you're not going to get into this, so just shut the fat trap. It's why I would like you to work for the Blaze, because I could not get the cable coverage by myself, because not powerful enough unless you have a giant corporation behind you, and when you have that, then you're beholden to somebody. But if we could unite our powers for good as opposed to evil, but that's another conversation.
We offer minimum wage and no benefits.
I mean, I pay you in sandwiches like you can't believe, but that's a different story. Is there anything
nice about my books? I could
use
that.
No.
Okay.
No. All right.
Now, if you
I tell you what. What do you think about this? I'm serious. I'm serious about a new book, writing a new book. Okay, Killing O'Reilly. It'll put in your crazy conspiracy stuff about George Soros.
I can't believe this guy.
But it will also
is absolutely true, because he went through it and now he has to mock me.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The left-wing press does.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I think he's
You're
great.
An old school guy. I know you haven't read Old School Life in the Sane Lane. I know you haven't read it, okay? Because your concentration span is about 15 seconds.
Right.
Okay?
What are you talking about?
But Old School Life in the Sane Lane, perfect for an old school mom, grandmom, or on Father's Day, whatever. And then Killing the Rising Sun, one of the best war books you will ever read.
I read that one.
Celebrating the heroism of Americans in the Pacific.
Yeah, I read that one. That one's really good. You'll learn a lot from that.
Did you really read it?
I really did.
Thank you.
Don't push me on it, because I didn't read it.
Odds of him reading that 100%, Bill, are very slim.
No, I read that one. That is really good. Really good. Now, Bill.
Yes.
Again, I'm thinking about writing Killing O'Reilly, and it would tell some of the things, that happened behind the scenes there, at FNC about, things that, I'm just saying, you could.
Come on.
We could just jump in on that together, and it would be the story, war stories.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I just don't think that's the right thing to do. What I want to do down the road is
lots of
tell
cash,
the truth
Bill.
about
This will get him. Lots of cash. Lots of cash.
It doesn't matter. I don't. You can't buy me.
Oh, come on. How long can you live on that $25 million settlement? Seriously.
And see, I mean, why
That's
would you
crazy.
take that seriously? Why would you take anything that's printed in the media seriously? Why would you believe it? When you know they'll throw anything in there. They'll say anything, they'll print anything.
So wait a minute. Are you saying, wait.
Believe this guy.
Are you saying, because you had you just signed a $100 million contract?
I mean, again, how would you possibly know that? I mean,
Well,
nobody
that one I
knows
happen
that.
to know. I mean,
Oh, you do not, Beck. You're paying me in sandwiches. And
yeah.
you're
So
rolling
listen,
around
what I'm
these
saying is, did you get more or less than 25?
Yeah.
Because if you got more, can I borrow some?
Yeah.
Because I want to hire somebody.
Back. You know, money will corrupt you.
All right. Okay. Bill O'Reilly, great to have you. BillO'Reilly.com. Sign up for his podcast, buy his books, blah, 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 blah. BillO'Reilly.com. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Talk to you again.
All right, Glenn.